This is an invitation to what's beyond the body. This is an invitation to what precedes the body, what precedes identification with the body. This is like stepping back, although there's really no step back. It's just what always is, this sense of knowing and this observing and this witnessing. Just it's being the peace. Being the peace without any edges, without any form. Even though there's perception, there is an interpretation of the edges in form. There's thoughts, but there's no interpretation of the thoughts or no attachment to the thoughts. There's a willingness to look at the thoughts should they come up. It's not like, fighting, keep that thought out, keep this thought out. Should a thought appear, so be it. From a state of peace, state of mind of peace, anything's allowed to show up as it is. The movement of my hands, I'm not thinking about what my hands should do. They're just moving. There's no interpretation of whether they should move in a certain way. There's no interpretation of the words that need to come out of my mouth. There's no interpretation of what someone needs to get out of this, what I need to get out of this. There's just this. It's a very restful state of mind. So this is an invitation to a restful state of mind. The invitation's always open, no matter what's happening or what seems to be happening. The invitation's always open. It's a ticket to ride. It's always available. It seemingly becomes unavailable when we attach to what is showing up. We attach to the thoughts, we attach ourselves to the things, we attach ourselves to the environment. At work, is the invitation still there? Yes, the invitation's still there at work, in a place where things are moving around. Is the invitation when you go to a party? Yes, the invitation's when you're at a party. Whether we accept the invitation or are willing to step back and just allow. No need to grab onto a thought. No need to act as if you are the thinker. No need to act as if you are in charge or in control. All those to-dos, all those needs, keep the invitation hidden. But the invitation can be accepted at any moment because there is only one moment. To think about the past, to think about the futures, to think that there's actually another moment. And so there's an investment, there's an attention placed in the past or in the future. And the invitation to this moment is lost. Not really lost, just not seen, not experienced. This is an invitation to a peace, a state of peace, a peaceful mind. This is a joining, because the knowing, the observing, the knowing in me, the knowing in me is the same knowing in you. Although there is no you and there is no me, there's just knowing. The attachments to thought create the perception of a me and a you. There's just knowing. The invitation is to the knowing. turn down the invitation and we forget. We detour into fear. Of Course in Miracles would say we detour into fear. That's where the separation, the origins of the separation lie, in the detour into fear. There's a belief somehow we can alter ourselves. We can alter the knowing. We can alter spirit within us. And it's not even within us, it is us. Within would infer that there's actually a place. There is no place. It's here. There's no other place, no other person, just here. Everything else is perception. Perception followed by thought, thinking, a making, a story. This is an invitation to step back from the story. And if the story should continue when this video is over, so be it. But the invitation to peace is still there. The invitation to the knowing is still there. The invitation to the sense of I, without any additional or no adding, that's always there. If our intent is to transcend the suffering, if our intent is to be in a state of peace, then it is to accept the invitation to step in. Although there isn't actually a stepping in, there's more like a backing up, a falling in, or falling out. No more out, you're falling out. And so everything's okay. Everything will always be okay. Everything has always been okay. Oh, but I remember a time that I was hurt in the past, or the time when I made a mistake. That's a detour into fear. There's a thought. There's a thought saying that you stepped out of the peace. There's a thought saying that there was something. There is nothing. This is. Oh, but I wasn't okay in this situation. Or that situation. Your interpretation of what that situation made you think you weren't okay. Because you thought you were a body. Because you thought you were a person who can be hurt. Your interpretation of whatever circumstances seemed to have created a hurt that happened in the past. That's all a construct. It's all a construct in the mind. It's a series of thoughts. But the invitation that I'm speaking to is an invitation to step back from that and to look at it. And if I can look at it, then I'm not it. I'm not talking about looking with the eyes. I'm talking about seeing from what seems like to be a space behind the eyes. There's a perceived, or there's a seeming space behind the eyes, observing all that's around. And from that point of view, or from that, what seems like a space, or can be perceived as a space behind the eyes, there is no definition, there's no form, there's no limit, there's no beginning and ending. If you bring your attention inward, there's no place that it stops. I don't sense a back of my head until I create a perception where I'm touching the back of my head and I'm perceiving it and labeling it as the back of my head. But if I was to just bring my attention inward, I can't find a wall in any direction. The invitation is to a state of mind where there are no walls. There's just a welcome. This is an invitation to a complete state of welcome. Oh, but I got to do something. I can't be in this welcome too long. Can't be in this welcome too long because I got something to do. There's the thought again. The thought of separation. I got to do something, because if I don't do something, what needs to get done, another thought, what needs to get done won't get done, and I will be unhappy. I will miss out. The invitation is now lost. Not really lost, just out of sight. There's a trust in the welcome, or a rest in the welcome, that whatever is going to show up or whatever needs to happen will happen by virtue of what just is. There's no planning on what I'm sharing. There's no planning on what this needs to look like or be, or how long it needs to be as I look at the time ticking. There's no plan for that. This video will end when it ends. And perhaps I will move on to something else. And perhaps I will lose the invitation and do something else. But that's okay, because then that'll be what it'll be. But even the thought of all of that is just thought. I can look at it again, let it pass, and accept the invitation, the welcome. I'm cradled again. Cradled. I'm surrounded. I'm definitionless. I'm limitless. And this is with us all the time. With us all the time. Eternal. This eternal peace, this eternal welcome, this eternal until it gets interrupted. I'm interpreting something. Clouds are coming. What time is it? Someone's coming over. Someone's coming over for dinner. So someone's coming over for dinner. They'll show up. If I need to prepare something, I'll prepare it. But it won't. It'll happen. In the moment, I will be guided. To be guided by the Holy Spirit is to be guided by that presence, by that welcome, by that This is an invitation. Thank you for accepting.